My screen is visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So today we can discuss about this, the A to Z guidelines for the AWS. So the person, this is not only for the AWS, but going forward, I will just start with this Terraform, Kubernetes, Docker, and the other stuff step by step. So today, just why I just start from the AWS, because the first step should be the AWS, any cloud basically.
Mhm.
If you are following the AWS, Azure, or GCP, or any cloud. So,
Mhm.
so nowadays, instead of using the on-premises, you can see most of the organizations are moving to the cloud, right? Because it
Yes.
has their own benefits. You can, as we say the word elasticity, so we can anytime launch our system. We can just migrate from one region to another region, one account to another account, right? Easily. There are multiple
Yes.
paid or free tools available in the AWS environment, and we can easily downgrade, upgrade our system. So we don't need to go to the
Exactly.
market and just purchase the hardware there and just mount it
Yes.
again. Okay, there are multiple
Yes.
cases. And in terms of the backup as well, so we will have a definitely more features and benefit if you want to take the continuous backup by using Lambda function or any other backup features available in the AWS.
Yes.
Okay, so as we know, AWS has more market in the IT hub, like any sectors, as compared to the Google Cloud and the Azure. So definitely, after the AWS, Azure is also there, which trying to capture the market after the AWS. Okay, but nowadays still AWS also the on the top priority. Like you can see everywhere the people are using the AWS cloud. After that,
Yes.
definitely you will see this Azure cloud and then Google Cloud. It's depend on their environment or their architecture, how they, which services they are using. Okay, but most
Yes.
of the cases you will see the AWS cloud. If you start, let's say if someone asks me like fresher candidate, which cloud I need to start. Okay, so
Mhm.
definitely, if you are already working on some project and in that project they are suggesting you to learn this Azure, GCP, or AWS. So based on that, you can just learn, because that is you need to work on after the 1 month or 2 month, right? That is the specific requirement. But if you are if you don't have any target now, if you are if you want to start now the journey to the any cloud, so in that case you can just start with the AWS cloud first. Okay, because it's very easy to learn. It has very more comprehensive documentation where you can just learn about those services, FAQs. Or if you want to do certification, you can just do add that as well. Certification is not mandatory, but it's good to have if someone asks you the specifically, do you have a certification? Okay,
Yes.
and learning wise and the UI wise, you can see the console, so anyone can easily understand where I need to jump and the what the services is about. So it's very user friendly UI AWS design. Okay, and obviously as AWS is a market leader, so it has a more scope of this future career growth in this AWS cloud. So out of any project, you can just see people are using AWS cloud. Okay, after that Azure and GCP. So
Yes.
once you get the knowledge and the other confidence to the respective services, then if you want to learn multiple cloud, then you can just jump to the Azure or GCP. It's based on your say
Requirement.
requirement and the situation, yeah, and in the interest area. So now the major questions from the candidate is like, which services should I learn, right? Because
Yes.
AWS has multiple services available in the market. So there are, I think, 200 plus or something. They design the services. So as we as a cloud engineer or DevOps engineer, we don't need to learn each and every services, because that is ultimately waste of time. So
Yes.
why I'm saying waste of time, because there are hundred of services. So there can be multiple situation, right?
Yes.
If I design here situation based thing, so let's say you have specific requirement. So there might be, if you hired somewhere in the organization and they place you somewhere in the project directly. Okay. In that case, if you don't know about the AWS services, so in that case, your team lead or the manager, he can suggest you, can you just quickly learn on these services? For example, I'm just giving the example, okay? ECS, EKS, Lambda function or something. Lambda function, then your IAM service, right? S3
Yes.
bucket, something. These are the specific requirement. These services might be you deployed or is using in that project. But as a generic way, These are the project specific requirement, but in the generic way, if you ask me like which services we need to focus, right? So in
Yes.
the today's market, based on my experience from last 10 years, so nowadays every student can focus on the containerization, obviously. Containerization, okay. In the containerization, you can just focus on your, I'm just talking about this AWS services, okay. Obviously, Docker should be there. ECS container, okay. In the ACS, you can just focus on this Fargate service, which is the managed service, right? And EKS service, Kubernetes service, basically Elastic Kubernetes service. Then ECR, okay. Apart from these, IMA permission, which is role and users roles permission, okay, which is policy.
Yes.
These are the very important factors which you need to learn anyway, okay.
Yes.
Then your S3 bucket for the storage point of view or log storing or any report storing something, okay. Then in the database, everyone should learn at least your MySQL Aurora, okay. Any database, MySQL or something, or
Really.
Postgres. And after that, DynamoDB, NoSQL database, DynamoDB. Okay. And apart from this, definitely like your compute management service, we should have a knowledge. So definitely nowadays people are using mostly container based technology, okay, which we called it as a Docker base. So every Node.js based application or any other based programming language based application, they are deploying on the containerized base, okay, not the particularly EC2 base. But as a baseline, we need to understand about the EC2 base as well. What is the EC2? How we can manage this? Okay, because there might be the world is very bigger, right? So there might be you will get a chance somewhere in the project where you need to set up the EC2 installation of the packages, right? And you need to manage that. So in that case, you also should aware about this EC2 servers. Then obviously load balancer. This is mandatory part. Load balancer. When we say load balancer, so in that we should learn about the ACM service, Amazon Certificate Manager, okay, where we make our website HTTPS, right, to secure the website connection. So ACM service is there, Amazon Certificate Manager. Then Route 50 service is there, and apart from these,
Auto
your
scaling.
auto scaling, yes, these are the mandatory part. There might be I might be missed right now, but these are the major one. For now, I'm just getting right now. Okay. Apart from these, if it is it now, what other services you can focus? If I can show you directly here on the console. So we have this category wise here. So I can
Yes.
just clearly show you. Not here. Application integration. In the microservices, you should learn about the Lambda function. Okay. Lambda function, then
Okay.
API gateway. These are the very mandatory services we should learn. And then CloudWatch, obviously, as part of the logging monitoring, CloudWatch and CloudTrail. CloudTrail is CloudTrail. Auditing point of view, which services, which user access and what action perform for the auditing point of view. And CloudWatch is just to monitoring the metrics and log point of view. Okay.
So what is the exactly Lambda function? What does it
Lambda function is a,
mean?
you can like let's say you have a EC2 service, right? So if you
Yes.
want to run particular job here, job means what? It can be any bash script, any Python script, any Node.js script, whatever. If you want to run this job, right, function, logic, so you need to unnecessarily run this EC2 servers 24 by 7, right?
Yes.
And obviously EBS storage cost is there, right?
Yes.
And additional management is there. You need to create the EC2 instance, you need to patch it, update the packages like that, right? And you need to log in the particularly through the putty or something, then you need to install particular packages there, and you need to manage everything. So instead of doing that or getting the cost 24 by 7, so we can easily use Lambda function here. It's supported multiple languages. There's, if you can log into your AWS account, and if you can see there, you will see Node.js, Python, .NET,
Mm-hmm.
multiple programming languages supported. Okay.
Yes.
So instead of running the 24 by 7, you can just run, let's say you want to run only for 2 p.m. for example. Okay. And it might take 2 seconds or something for to execute that job. So you will get bill for only these 2 seconds. What is the time it takes to process and the memory consumption. So based on that only you will get the charges.
Mm.
And you don't need to worry about the baseline system, right? It's a
Mm.
kind of a software as a service or platform as a service, right? So you
Yes.
underlying hardware, you don't need to worry about that. So that will automatically taken care by the providers.
So we don't give any software here. It is already in
You
the
just need to
Lambda function.
like, let's say for example, platform as a service. So you can just simply just log into your Lambda function AWS account, open the Lambda function service, and just select your programming language which you want to set up this function, and your deploy your you can deploy your code. That's it. And the remaining permissions you can just set up accordingly which function you have written there. So based on that, but baseline underlying hardware like provisioning the EC2 instance, then patching it, right, and managing the
Mm.
users or log into that you don't need to worry about that. And unnecessary, you don't need to pay the bill for 24 by 7 or EBS volume size.
Mm.
Only if you execute the job for the 2 seconds. Okay, so that's it.
Mm.
Only for that period you will get the charges.
Okay.
But for in the EC2 cases, if you run your job and shut down your EC2 instance, still you will get the charges for the storage, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are multiple factors,
Yeah.
pros and cons available in that. Okay, so we'll discuss later in future for the detail, but
Okay.
we can go through this documentation as well. There are
Okay.
certain limitation of the Lambda function side as well. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
then application कुछ है इसमें. This Amazon Workmail you can use for the email service if you want to use email service for you are sending and receiving the emails. You can
Mm.
use that. I will in future this week or next week I will create this separate video on this Workmail. It's very interesting topic. You don't need to purchase any separate service for the email service from the any third
Mail track.
vendor. Yeah, it's an email service basically.
Yes. Yes. The Jenkins were giving the email, right? That type of service it is.
Yeah, you can use in Jenkins as well. Yes. Database I already explained. Elasticache definitely you can just focus on that as well. If there might be cases like some organization can use this code build, code commit, code deploy. But now most of the time people use separately like Jenkins, GoCD or any other tools like Git. Nowadays people are using GitHub Action, GitLab CI/CD, right? So those are the trending one now. So you can focus on those area. And VPC migration service in the network side, so that you can also focus on. In VPC there are multiple things: VPC peering, security, network, SEL like that. So you can just focus on that area as well. And in the security, definitely in the security we can just
I
focus on the IMA, and then guard duty, cloud, web application firewall. This one, web.
yes.
So now we will see na, the what
Mm.
capture thing, right? Or there
Yes.
are
Yes.
multiple
Yes.
thing as well, not only the capture. If some bot detect spamming on your applications, continuously hitting or sign up on your website or something, any spam activity, so you can just use this web service to protect from their bot attacks. In the storage, you can definitely focus on this majorly on the S3 bucket.
Yes.
And there in the S3 bucket there are multiple additional feature available. You can just go through that. And also for the backup service, for the centralized backup service, you can manage for the S3 bucket or any EC2 service or RDS. RDS have a separate option, we don't need to use this, but for the EC2 definitely you can just try this backup service. It's a centralized backup management service. And if you don't have any account now, so you can just try to set up the AWS free tier account. So at least you can just try to use for the 1 year. So there is a no meaning like free tier means no, each services is free. Okay, so only the some sort of limitation are there. You can just go through their website and you can just try only within a limitation. So let's say
Yes.
after the, it will available till, let's say today you have activated your account. So from today to next 1 year, okay, that account will
Yes.
valid for the free tier. So after that, whatever the service you use, it will chargeable. So what the other options will be have, so you can create a new account with a new email address. So you can just continue to use either a student.
Yes.
And definitely for the study pattern. So let's say some of the services are that you want to study, right? So people might follow the different strategy. It's a depend on the everyone thought process. Okay. But based on my experience, I'm just trying to explain. So let's say you can set up your goal first, right? First, don't try to jumble here and there. Like some people might in the market, they might jumble like uh, डेवलपर बनूं या फुल स्टैक करूं या क्या करूं, right?
Mm-hmm.
या DevOps में जाऊं. अगर किसी ने, if someone talks like DevOps is trending, there is, you will get lots of package and other steps. He can influence them, influence, right? And he will start learning DevOps. After some times he will realize यार ये मेरे से नहीं हो रहा है, इसमें बहुत कुछ टूल्स और टेक्नोलॉजी से सीखना पड़ रहा है. फिर वो
मेरे
सोच
को ऐसा
सोचे.
हो रहा है सर।
हाँ.
क्योंकि
फिर
बहुत
देन
ज्यादा टूल्स है।
देन ही माइट थिंक कि यार अभी फुल स्टैक में जाते हैं या कोई पाइथन सीख लेते हैं, उसी में करियर करते हैं. तो दिस इज waste of time basically. If you don't get proper guidance, or you do your own way, or influenced by some other YouTube channel or any friend circles, okay, so
Yes,
in that
correct.
case ultimately you will lose your confidence and your time definitely. So first decide properly. You can take not only my suggestion, but you can take any other senior member available on the market. You can then ask them question like or get the suggestion which things are good for the future, like next 10 years or 15 years. So which technology will survive, right? So you can just take the suggestion and take check your capacity. Sometimes we will feel like ये मेरे से होगा कि नहीं, but once you do the proper study and the other proper timing, right? So definitely gradually you will learn those technology. ऐसा नहीं है कि DevOps is not a, ऐसे 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 भी नहीं है कि no one can learn. Okay, so if you go to the proper strategy, you will definitely learn. Okay, so after that scripting you can learn later. No, no hurry. So at least you can just start with the AWS cloud or any cloud. Okay, then you should have a basic understanding of the Linux, right? Then the major one is like Git,
It
then your Docker, your Kubernetes,
was
okay,
Ansible.
Terraform. Ansible एक बार नहीं आया तो भी चलेगा, but these are the major one. Then your CI/CD का कोई भी tool like Jenkins हो गया, Jenkins, GitLab CI/CD भी है, GitLab CI/CD and GitHub Action. These are the main area you can just focus on this. GitHub, sorry, मेरा handwriting थोड़ा ये है. GitHub Action, ठीक है?
Ansible. Yeah.
So at least definitely basic fundamental should be there. ऐसे नहीं है कि जस्ट ऊपर ऊपर से पढ़ के आप बाकी जस्ट इंटरव्यू को चले जा रहे हो, ठीक है? बेसिक
हम्म।
अंडरस्टैंडिंग यू शुड हैव फंडामेंटल नॉलेज. AWS जो अभी सर्विसेज मैंने एक्सप्लेन की, लिनक्स का
सर कितना
बेसिक.
AWS सर्विस, AWS में कितना सर्विस we have to learn, sir? Like how many services is very very important to learn.
सो अभी लास्ट सेशन में अभी जस्ट इसके पहले वही तो बताया मैंने.
वही EC2 लैम्बडा एंड VPC
या वैसे
S3।
बाकी बहुत सारे सर्विसेज है, बट एट लीस्ट यू शुड फोकस ऑन दिस मेजर वन,
ओके
जो अभी ज्यादा
ओके
यूज
सर।
हो रहा है मार्केट में. एंड उसके बाद लिनक्स का बेसिक थोड़ा बहुत आया तो चलेगा, क्योंकि ये आना कंपलसरी चाहिए उसमें। मतलब शेल पे आप कौन सा कमांड यू एग्जीक्यूट कर रहे हो, क्या एग्जीक्यूट कर रहे हो, उसका आउटपुट क्या होगा एग्जीक्यूट करने के बाद, दैट यू शुड अवेयर। ऐसा नहीं
हम्म,
कि आपने आरएम कमांड चला दिया और आपको पता ही नहीं कि बैकएंड में क्या होगा इससे, राइट? So that is the
हम्म,
reason, if you try to write down the bash script or any python script or whatever, okay, so
okay.
when we write the logic like if else statement or any values, environment variables, whatever the elements, so that we should aware कि backend में इसका जो ये है, लेट्स से कि आपको कोई स्क्रिप्टिंग में इंडेंटेशन का एरर आया, या YAML फाइल है, जेसन फाइल है, कोई और भी कुछ अलग अलग इश्यूज है राइट फाइल में, तो वो एटलीस्ट वी शुड अवेयर कि हाँ ये इससे सॉल्व किया जाता है। वहाँ पे थोड़ा सा इजी हो जाता है हमारे लिए कि सॉल्व करने के लिए, इसलिए कमांड लाइन मतलब बैश स्क्रिप्टिंग वगैरह वो थोड़ा सा अगर नॉलेज है, सो दैट विल बी गिव द एडिशनल वेटेज।
हम्म,
ठीक है, मुझे क्यों लर्न करना है ये मैटर नहीं है, बट वो बहुत कुछ हेल्प कर जाता है आपको। जब आप कोई पाइपलाइन लिख रहे हो, when you are writing
हम्म,
pipeline YAML file JSON or whatever, okay, so in that case this command line and enter जो भी है ना, और ये हमें हेल्प करता है वहाँ पे अंडरस्टैंडिंग में। Then
okay.
Git is a not a rocket science, okay, you can, I can say you can learn in 1 or 2 days। ठीक है, उसमें
Yes.
मेजरली कुछ कमांड होते हैं जो रिपीटेडली हम यूज करते हैं। प्रॉब्लम कहाँ आती है, जहाँ पे हमें प्रॉपर प्रोसेस फॉलो करना होता है, मर्ज रिक्वेस्ट गिट
हम्म,
कॉन्फ्लिक्ट आता है तो वहाँ पे क्या करना है, राइट? और कब कौन सा सिंक लेना है, क्या करना है, वो चीज़ें, ठीक है।
okay.
डॉकर, कुबरनेटिस, टेराफॉर्म और CI/CD। एंड मॉनिटरिंग में यू कैन लर्न समथिंग लाइक देर आर मल्टीपल टूल्स पीपल यूजिंग, नेजियोस है, उसके बाद ग्राफाना है, और समटाइम्स पीपल आल्सो यूज ELK, राइट, इलास्टिक
Right.
स्टैश वगैरह। ठीक है, सो वंस यू डिसाइड योर गोल कि अब क्या करना है उसमें, फिर दिस टेक्नोलॉजी यू कैन जस्ट लर्न, ओके। I might be miss any few tech stack here, but these are the major one which I am just reminding now, okay, so you can just go through that. And now coming to this study pattern, let's say you have selected any topic, like any tool, for example AWS, okay, now you want to learn about the, मान लो ECS या lambda function या whatever, ठीक है।
हम्म,
फर्स्ट यू शुड अंडरस्टैंड द टर्मिनोलॉजी, मतलब ये है क्या,
हम्म,
what is the ECS and why we use it, okay, why we use it, and how we can set up it, how to set up, and any troubleshooting, right? And after that you can just take any small, initially you can take any small project related to ECS, okay. And nowadays definitely there are very easy way, right? You can use ChatGPT as well. If you put the proper message here, let's say act as a AWS expert, right, give me best, or you can just say like being an AWS expert and having मान लो 10 years of experience, right? Give me best two real-time project based on ECS container, right? This is, I'm just giving the one example. You can just put your thought process with the different tech stack. Let's say for the Linux, GitHub, Docker, Terraform, Kubernetes, whatever, right?
okay.
So you will get some sort of in any two project there. If you don't understand what he has written or something, so there is one more option is there. You can regenerate the response in
Mm,
the chat GPT if you are aware already. If you search more like give me any lambda function code or something, that also he will give, no issues.
yes.
ठीक है.
Yes.
But after learning these basic fundamentals and the terminology, how it works, why we use it, and how to
Yes.
set up, right? What options we
Yes.
need to use during the setup, then troubleshooting, and what things come to the when we set up for the monitoring, sorry, real time base, and how we can design the architecture. That also the coming. important factor. So definitely gradually you will learn how you can design the architecture. You can use any tools, raw.io or something. So there are multiple tools available in the market. Okay. And after the project build setup, you can just then you can just try to focus on this entry preparation. So during this learning curve, definitely you will understand some and get the knowledge, right? How it works. So based on that, you can just try to build the project and then you can just try your interview preparation. You can see the FAQs on the Google or somewhere, ChatGPT or any YouTube videos, any real time, how interview videos also interview questions. So based on that, you can get some more confidence what kind of question they will ask. If you try to attend any interviews from there also you will get the learning like yeah for the ECS or I'm just giving the example for all these services only, but you can just apply this to any technologies like or your Terraform, Jenkins or any CI/CD pipelines or something. So you can just based on your grasping power you can just increase your speed. Okay. But
Yes.
at least if you are a fresher now or you don't have any other stuff, so at least give you can give the at least 4 hour per day for the study.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
So take one topic one day and learn those all these things gradually. And in between, if you get somewhere the interview chance opportunity, you can just try to attend it. At least doesn't matter it's a rejection or something, but at least you will understand current in the current market what kind of questions are asking, right? So based on that,
Yes.
you will get more knowledge and the ideas. Yeah, these kind of questions are coming now, so I need to prepare that way, right?
Yes.
अगर इंटरव्यू दोगे ही नहीं तो पता कैसे चलेगा कि क्या किस टाइप का पैटर्न चल रहा है अभी
Right.
4 साल 5 साल पहले असाइनमेंट बहुत कम देते थे अभी वो
Mm.
एक ट्रेंड ही बन गया है मतलब आपको इंटरव्यू देने के पहले ही पहले असाइनमेंट दिया जाता है कि असाइनमेंट करके आओ मेरे पास हफ्ते में देन वी विल शेड्यूल योर इंटरव्यू राइट असाइनमेंट के
Yes.
पैटर्न में असाइनमेंट का पैटर्न है सो
Great.
जस्ट ट्राई टू गिव द इंटरव्यू अभी थोड़ा मार्केट थोड़ा टाइट चल रहा है आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड कॉल नहीं आ रहे हैं उतने बट ठीक है अभी पता नहीं वो कब जाके रिकवर होगा बट वी कैन जस्ट कीप ट्राइंग नो कंटिन्यूअसली क्या पता कि कहीं अपॉर्चुनिटी मिले और हमने वहां पे अप्लाई कर दिया और हमें अपॉर्चुनिटी मिल जाए राइट
Yes.
सो वी शुड नॉट लूज आवर होप होता है कभी कभी बहुत रेयर केस में हम चले जाते हैं कि बहुत फ्रस्ट्रेशन आता है ना तो ऐसा
Yes.
लगता है कि अभी सामने बस है कुछ है ही नहीं है बट क्या पता है कि वो सामने जो दीवार खड़ी है उसके पीछे कुछ है अपॉर्चुनिटी तो
Mm.
वी कैन जस्ट
Right.
ट्राई टू कीप कंटिन्यूअसली कहीं ना कहीं अगर कुछ जुगाड़ हो गया ना तो दैट विल गिव वन बूस्टर फॉर यू एक बार कहीं
Mm.
अगर लग गया जॉब तो यू कैन जस्ट लर्न एंड अंडरस्टैंड द रियल टाइम कंसेप्ट कि किस तरह से वर्क चलता है बस वो एक पुश अप मिलना जरूरी है राइट सो वो
Yes,
उसी
sir.
के लिए ट्राई करना है
Yes, sir.
एंड जस्ट डोंट वरी अबाउट द हाइप जो मार्केट में चलता है ना कि चैट जीपीटी ये हो जाएगा वो हो जाएगा ठीक है
Mm.
जो ह्यूमन का ब्रेन बना है एज ए नेचुरल ना जो किसी एंगल से डिसीजन ले सकता है अलग अलग मोड में जाके नो वन कैन बीट ऑन दैट ठीक है
Mm.
तो मार्केट में इधर उधर हाइप चलता रहता है डोंट वरी सो दीज आर द सेम थिंग्स विच आई जस्ट एक्सप्लेन यू on the interview preparation you can just try to follow the strategy like so I am just trying to explain my strategy but if you have any other thought process or any better thought process on this you can just try to implement that and you can just try to prepare yourself for the interview preparation okay and
Okay.
just don't blindly copy a anyone's resume okay that's a blunder for any candidate so let's say you don't know about the ECS or EKS cluster and you just copy from somewhere right you get from the social media LinkedIn or somewhere and let's say मान लो कि in fact इंटरव्यू पैनल ने क्वेश्चन पूछ लिया ECS या कुबरनेटिस पे if you don't aware so how the impression will be right it will be
Yes, sir.
bad impression right so whatever you know that you can put on the top priorities in the resume let's say you have added your personal details don't add your date of birth or any marital status okay marital status only your name contact details and email address that's sufficient okay then if you have a GitHub profile definitely you can add okay GitHub profile and then LinkedIn profile. So sometimes people can just visit your profile and see your activity, what you are doing, if you are doing any community contribution or something, right? In that case. So based on that, they will judge sometimes. And don't create two, three, four project, sorry, resumes on pages resume. Only if you keep one or two shots with the impressive formats. Don't keep any fancy images or something like there. I have already prepared the video on the resume preparation. Also, I am designing the my intro, sorry, resume. So once I prepared, I will just share with across. So you can just refer that as well. And keep only the things are trending on the market. You can try to create two resumes always.
Okay.
Okay. So what is the reason behind this two resume? One is generic, okay, and one is specific. Now, what is the generic resume and what is the specific one, right? So in the generic, you can mention whatever you know. Let's say you aware AWS, Linux, right? Or whatever the DevOps tools are there. So you can just mention all the proper professional wordings and the formatting there. Okay. And one is specific means, let's say you have, if I go to this any profile now, Manlo, DevOps openings, Naukri. So there might be a specific requirement, right? They
Yes.
aware they demand like your candidate should have a CI/CD expertise. I can show you any one sample here. Let me check. Project role description, right? Must have a skill, DevOps. Good to have a Python, Docker, Kubernetes. And sometimes don't worry about this. Good to have a skill, right? Python. Okay. Even let's say if their other specific requirement are matching with you, but you are thinking
Yes.
like यार मुझे पाइथन नहीं आता तो क्या करना है अप्लाई करूँ कि नहीं right. So in that
Yes.
case you can just try to apply, and when HR will talk to you, you can just ask them like, do you have a mandatory skills? I mean, you are looking for the candidate who have a mandatory skill for Python, or good to have a learn later as well. Okay, so you can
Yes.
just clarify that. If they ask like you can, it's good to have but not mandatory, then you can just apply for that position. And later on, once you get the opportunity, you can just try to learn this by any programming language. Okay,
Yes.
and you can just see any other skills you are demanding which have DevOps, CI/CD pipeline, then Docker, Kubernetes, right? Ansible, Puppet, AWS or Azure, Git, Docker, PowerShell. This is for the education. Fine. Someone might have a specific mention like they required a GitHub action skills or any other skills, right? So in that
Yes.
case, based on the JD, you can just modify your resume. Okay.
Correct.
So they will get better understanding like, yeah, this candidate is suitable for us. HR will call you definitely in that case if they are matching with your requirement. So you can just try to just build this and keep one always updated generic resume. If let's say I don't have a specific requirement, I just directly ask you like Sunil, can you just send me your resume? So in that case, you can just say this generic resume, right?
Mm.
Because you don't have any specific requirement. So in that case, you can just whatever you have skill set, you have work on the project, you can mention there, and you can just send the generic resume. If when you are applying for some specific position, in that case check their specific JD, what they are expecting from the candidate, and based on that you can just write on the first page, and you can mention only those skill set on the first page. And every day, let's say you are actively searching for the job, right?
Yes.
So what will happen, some candidate might don't aware about the logic, how the Naukri portal will works or other profile, and how the HR will find the candidate, right? Let's say let me just erase it. There is a two candidate, candidate one and candidate two. One candidate updated his profile, right? last year. ठीक है, last year he updated his Naukri profile, and this candidate too, he's updating profile every week or every day. When HR will filter the resume, what he will sort out, he will filter, apply the filter like get the resume which updated last, they might be last 24 hours or maximum 1 week, right? Why they will search for the last 1 year updated profile.
Yes.
So that's the reason when we are actively searching for any job, so we should try to update our profile. When I say updating the profile, that doesn't mean you will change all the parameters, right? Only this, you can just add single dot or remove any single word, add one more time or something like that. Any,
Okay.
okay? And you can, and every day, if you want to update every day before 9 a.m. or something,
Okay.
okay? Before 9 a.m. every day, you can just try this tricks for one week or 1 month, and let's see, see, you can just see the observation if you received any calls or something like that. Only now in the current situation, only freshers can feel the pain, okay? Because whatever the openings are coming now, that's might be 2+, 3+ years something,
Yes.
right? Right. But when you already have experience of this 2+, 3+, you can just try to just try to use these tricks and see if you get any positive response from the HR. Okay. But for this, your profile should be impressive. Like, don't add any outdated information there. Any, I'm not calling the word, but add only the trending, whichever the trending now, okay? The Terraform, Kubernetes, Docker, or other AWS services or something like that, Elastic Cache or any monitoring services like that. Okay. Any other specific questions? I think we are done now.
Yes, sir. In real time world, like once we enter the company, so we are having all the tools we are need to learn, or what, sir? Like Jenkins only we need to work on the Jenkins only, or Terraform.
Okay. If I say you mota mota, ठीक
Yes.
है? One is your infra, other is infra as a code, then your deployment, ठीक है? And then your monitoring part. In the infra, it might be on the AWS, it might be on the Azure. Okay. We have defined, we can choose for AWS now. Okay. And infrastructure as a code, you can just learn which is the market leader or trending one, Terraform. Okay. Apart from Terraform, if anyone has a specific requirement like candidate should have a skill set about the cloud formation or something, it's different matter. In that case, you can just learn and CDK, Cloud Development Kit. But major one is you can focus on Terraform. Okay. Now coming to this, one more thing I have missed here. So I can add here code management, okay, or repo management, where you can learn Git. Okay. When we say deploy, which is CI/CD pipeline, so in that case, you can just focus on now GitHub action. Okay. GitHub action,
Jenkins.
GitLab CI/CD and Jenkins. Only these tools you can focus primarily. And for the monitoring, you can just focus on Grafana. There might be a multiple tools for this, okay? But Grafana, then ELK, Elasticsearch Kibana, and there your CloudWatch itself within a AWS. Okay, these are the major one. You can just focus on this, and obviously Linux.
So what about Trivi and Argo CD? That is comes under CI/CD.
Yeah, when we talk about the CI/CD, that those are the scanning tool like Sonar Cube. Okay, Sonar
Yes.
Cube. Sonar Cube is a code quality checks tool. Okay, and 3V is also checking to the Docker image. That's part of the CI/CD pipeline. So how we can integrate this in the pipeline, that you can learn.
Mm.
Okay, you want to take screenshot or how?
Yes, sir. I already took.
Okay.
Already.
Anyway, this is the recorded session. I'm just going to upload on the YouTube channel. So when you try to prepare for the interview, just try to figure it out your personal like introduction, right? This is the main
Yes.
thing. And any interview start with this introduction, right? Then your project explanation.
Yes.
Explain your project, what you have done, like roles and responsibility, right? End-to-end project explanation. Then any troubleshooting you have done, or they might ask you some troubleshootings, what you have done, okay? And your CI/CD pipeline, obviously. I have already prepared the video on my YouTube channel. You can just go through that. And definitely documentation, just ping me on WhatsApp number. I will just share the document as well. And I will upload
Okay.
on 𝐂𝐨𝐲𝐬𝐧, the LMS platform. Apart from this, then you can just focus on your Docker. After the AWS, okay? AWS and Linux and Git, Docker, Kubernetes, Terraform. These are the major one. Only how to set up, okay? How to set up any troubleshooting, networking troubleshooting, storage, or any other stuff. And project. At least 2, 3 project you can just try by using this technology, where you will deploy your project on the Docker, Kubernetes, Terraform. Terraform means infrastructure management, okay? And your
Mm.
pipeline should be configured. You can through these tool we earlier discussed, right? GitHub Action, GitLab, CI/CD, or Jenkins. So these are the project-based batch I already took. So if you find here, which one you have taken?
Project class, sir.
Yeah, definitely. So in that case, you will get all this. Only you need documents, so just ping me. So I will just provide after the session.
Yes.
So yeah, I think we are good. Any other questions before wrap up?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So I already shared the most the content, basically course content on my GitHub profile. So where you can just find properly categorized repository here, which I try to categorize separately for the better management. Where AWS Cloud, you will see the Lambda function code here. Okay. And the course content for the AWS, which services you can just try, learn. So all the details I have added here. Okay. This is for the AWS Cloud. Then for the Gen AI, I have not started it. Terraform, you will see Terraform content. Okay, I have ordered all the details here. Terraform course content. Then your CI/CD pipeline, Azure DevOps, resume I will upload. Entry preparation, you will see. I have not added anything right now here. Troubleshooting, scripting, AWS CDK, Jenkins, Docker, Kubernetes. You will see some project here in the Kubernetes. So I have ordered all the course content here, which things you need to learn in the Kubernetes. Here, Argo Studies, Helm chart, all the details are there. And this 5 days program also you will get lots of benefit from here. I have already taken. You can refer this as well, 5 days. And this is for the DevOps real-time interview question and answer. So you can see here all the questions. There are multiple questions and answers here. I think 200 plus and more than that. If nothing there, we can just wrap up for today. And next time we can connect for the other stuff.
Thank you. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.